The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are The Bostonian versus The Book.
You covered 12! I covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus The Book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
It is a gloomy day in Vegas. It's a gloomy day in New York. How are you, Brigade? Welcome into another episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. We are live on YouTube and Twitter, replayed on Sports Grid Television and Sirius XM channel 159. Dave Sharapan, the Book, Matt Perrault, the Bostonian. What, you don't like my analogy? It's a gray day. It's a gloomy day. You got to go check in on your Jets fans today, boys. You got to go make sure they're not on the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh, man. 3 plays. We got 3 plays.
Snap.
And then, yeah. So exciting leading up to it. It was all there for the taking. And then it's a sad situation. Snaps it. And it's now we're looking at Zach Wilson is the starter.
Yes, sir.
But I'm looking at my Twitter feed. People are talking about Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Moose, our friend Mark Malusis, just tweeted that Matt Ryan. They're gonna go get Matt Ryan. I disagree, Moose. I don't think that's the answer. But welcome to Tuesday, an overreaction Tuesday officially of the NFL season. We got a lot planned. We'll get Chris on today. Hopefully that works, that connection. I talked to Bernie Fraudo this morning. He's sick to his stomach that he couldn't join us because he had Detroit plus the points. He said money line. He had the guy that scored a touchdown. He talked about the draft. Yeah, I talked to him this morning. I said, Bernie, this would have been perfect had you just discovered the email that Matt sent you. Like,
did it not go through? Like, what happened?
Doesn't know, but I'm hoping. That's why I hesitate to do a tweet that says who we're going to have, because if there's technical difficulties and we don't have them, then we look
fine.
like
who cares? That's fine. That's typical. That's just media. Things always go not perfectly.
Media.
Ask the Jet fan today. Things don't go as planned.
We just will not let this go. I was trying to transition it.
We're not transitioning. This is all we're talking about until we talk to Chris. This is it. This is 100%. This is the show at the moment on this. We have to talk about this. I mean, what'd you make of the pregame ceremony? Like, what'd you make of Aaron Rodgers running out with the flag and the spotlight and the lights going off and the green lights everywhere?
You know, I never really watched that stuff for the whole time that I was working in a book because we were taking bets.
Right.
So, like, I don't really watch a lot of that stuff. Like I saw it. I was on Sports Grid, so I had it on without sound, and I was like, that looked awesome. Okay, like, let's play football. You know, who's getting the ball first? What are we doing in game? What are we doing? You know, I go back into that like work mode. So, what did you think of it?
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was for 9/11. It was incredible. I thought it was really a powerful moment. I thought the Jet fans went from, I mean, that was, I think, the peak of the night for them when Rodgers came out.
Talking about the punt return for the touchdown and they won.
I think it was still muted. We'll get to that in a little bit. I think it was still not what it would have been if Aaron Rodgers was on the field, because it was, you know, the gift that everybody is putting out of the girl dancing at the party, having a good time and crying at the same time. That's exactly what Jet fans were doing. I mean, they were jumping up and down, but they knew exactly what was about to happen when reality came in and reality struck that, great, we're 1-0. Now what? Because Aaron Rodgers is gone. I don't think Aaron Rodgers plays another snap in the NFL.
Oh,
Where are
too
you
soon
in
to-
his future?
Too soon to say that. I mean, I don't know.
At
It's hard to
39
come
years
back.
old, this is an injury that is difficult for a 29-year-old to come back from.
Did Kobe come back from this?
At
Kobe
like
did this,
30,
right?
31, right?
I don't know how old he was, but this is the same injury, right? You know, I mean, is he ever going to be the same? Probably not. Can he come back? Yes. If he wants to come back, I would think, knowing him, he would want to come back. I saw AJ this morning on Pat say that he thinks he'll come back. AJ's still really tight with him, good friends with him. And, you know, when AJ says something, I tend to listen and respect it. I don't know. We had Yanitsi on yesterday. He was so hyped up, ready to go, did the game. He texted me on the way home and said, I'm so happy, but I'm crying too at the same time.
Right.
Literally,
Yeah,
that's the girl you said.
Yeah, that's the girl dancing at the party, excited but crying at the same time. Kobe was 34 when he had a ruptured Achilles tendon.
Okay.
And he came in. Basketball is more difficult than football. I mean, you put more stress on your Achilles as a basketball player than you do as a football player. But when you saw it, I mean, I came out of class and I couldn't believe it. Like I was like, I don't want to laugh because someone got hurt and I feel really bad that somebody got hurt.
Yeah.
But I still want to laugh.
Yeah.
Like I still want to go, are you kidding me? I mean, he does not even complete a pass. Not one pass completed as a Jet for Aaron Rodgers.
Man.
All that hype, all of the excessive amount of media coverage. Gone in a single play.
You think it was excessive?
No, because it was appropriate. I think it was a bit overblown given the age of him. Somebody tweeted out what I thought was pretty interesting. They said, you know, if Tom Brady didn't play till he was 45, and if Tom Brady didn't win 3 Super Bowls after the age of 35, we would be asking very serious questions about why a 39-year-old quarterback was receiving the hype that he received. It's a fair point. I mean, Tom Brady has changed our perception of what is possible as a quarterback ages in the NFL. But we talked about it all season. I said it all preseason, all summer. The offensive line was going to get Rodgers killed. And on the fourth snap of the season, the offensive line gets Rodgers out for the year.
Just an unfortunate injury, the way he got tackled. And I don't know. I'm just constantly thinking about what do you do next? Like, where do you go? I look down in the super chat and Big Business just dropped in there with a yellow comment. Jets bring back Flacco. And
it's not nuts.
To the Super Bowl. It is nuts.
Well,
what are you talking about?
The second.
Why are you going to bring back another old guy?
They have to. They have no choice. Look at their future. Look at the future market. Look at the futures market. It goes from 16-1 to 60.
Well, who in the hell is going to bet them now? You need to go get the Jets money.
16 to 60. Jets
I would make it 100. Get somebody to bet it.
Jets go from minus 130 to make the playoffs to plus 215 after they win a divisional game in week 1.
He continued to say, just hand the ball off and don't caca yourself. This defense will keep you in any game. And we need to talk about Josh Allen being worse than Dak.
Hold on.
Get to the Josh Allen.
We'll get to Josh Allen. Don't worry.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the question. Should the Jets ride with Zach Wilson? You took him out of BYU very highly.
For a reason, is he not?
Well, he's on the team because they have a 4-year contract invested in him. He's a first-round draft pick quarterback. That's why he's on the team. I mean, you can't cut him or they would. I mean, they're calling around. All the reports are this morning that once they got the confirmation that Aaron Rodgers' season's over, they started calling around to veteran quarterbacks. They don't believe in Zach Wilson. So why should anybody else believe in Zach Wilson?
So we're seriously considering Flacco?
I think you have to consider everyone. I don't think Flacco is an option. Stop saying Tom Brady, everybody. It's the dumbest conversation I've heard in a while.
Please tell him.
Tom Brady is not playing for the Jets. Just shut up, please, and stop talking about Tom Brady. He's not playing for the Jets. Even if he was still wanting to play, he wouldn't play for the Jets because of the Jets. But on top of that, Tom Brady is not interested in playing football anymore. Tom Brady has moved on. He's closed that. The Patriots are going to have a gigantic ceremony for him. Robert Kraft on Sunday stood up there and said he is waiving the 5-year wait period for the Patriots Hall of Fame. And on June 12th, 2024, there will be a Hall of Fame induction ceremony at Gillette Stadium with tickets being sold for Tom Brady to go in. They're going to put 75,000, 80,000 people into a Hall of Fame ceremony for Tom Brady in June. Brady doesn't say yes to that if there's any thought he'd play football again in the NFL. So he's gone.
They can push that back. That's no big deal.
No. Tom Brady.
With the money. I would love to see Tom Brady in a Jets uniform.
Yeah, not happening. Please stop it.
Emerson Latzia. I'm signing for this.
Yeah,
people in the chat, do you want to see Tom Brady play for the Jets? Yes or no?
Even if you want to see, it's not happening. So, I want to go date a supermodel. Ain't happening. So, like, it's you can have all the wants you want in the world.
Never. You might get a title shot.
It ain't happening. Maybe a title shot, but not getting we're not dating them. Maybe not on my end either. That's true.
Please keep it. We got to get through football season first.
True.
Before we start that.
You're right. I just think you have to at least see who's out there. So Carson Wentz, yes. Colt McCoy, yes. Matt Ryan, please. Matt Ryan was so bad at the end of last year. My gosh.
You just got to look at the game film.
He was horrible. Matt Ryan was a walking interception. I'd be curious to see if they'll kick the tires.
Steelers about Trubisky?
Yes, and I think they'll kick the tires on Jameis Winston. Although, according to Tom Pelissero of NFL Network, he said this morning that he talked to people close to the Jets or inside the Jets. They're not interested in trading for anybody. They want to sign somebody. They don't want to give up. They don't want to give up draft capital or anything about that.
Okay. That's very nice of them. That's they. So your options are okay. Guys who aren't playing.
Right. Guys on the street. You're not going to go make a trade for a 3rd round, 4th round pick or whatever. They're not going to give up anything for a quarterback, which is odd to me, given what you have invested in this season. But they may feel like, look, we went all in because Rodgers was 39. We have a longer window. If we aren't going to wait, if we're not playing for right now, why give up draft capital that we'll need to build the roster?
Oh my goodness. You want to win?
If I'm a Jet fan, I just spent all off season in the daydream world of winning a championship and playing in Vegas. So yes, I want to win.
Oh God, the guys in the chat. Great to see all of you. Jay Buck just dropped in a hello, sir. We appreciate you as well. Ryan Fitzmagic, Big Ben, Colin Kaepernick. Bring Peyton back. Cam Newton. Is Cam Newton better than Zach Wilson? I don't want to hear Tom Brady's name ever again. Me and you both.
Wow. It's Cam Newton.
Oh, Colt McCoy, of course, mentioned. Yes. Kirk Cousins.
Well, that's the question, right? There's that rumor but that got shut down by the trade situation. So the reason why Kirk Cousins' name is relevant in this is because they didn't re-sign him. They didn't give him a new deal. His deal is up at the end of this year. So there's a big thought that the Vikings are moving on from Kirk Cousins after this season. So maybe the Vikings would be willing to trade him. So you could trade, and they would want to tank for Caleb Williams. So because the Vikings look like they're going to be pretty bad. I mean, they lost week 1. They like Justin Jefferson, obviously, but they can tell Justin, look, sit down. We're going to go get you a Caleb Williams type quarterback, and you're going to be good.
I don't get it, man. I don't know. NFL GMs, that stuff's always way above my pay grade. I love to listen to the banter back and forth. Never want to speculate that I know what they are doing or who they're calling. But I know that if I'm the Jets, we got one yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That was against Buffalo, who's the odds-on favorite to win a division.
Mm-hmm.
we got a pretty damn good defense.
Mm-hmm.
We have enough. We had a couple great runs by Breece Hall, but
Yes.
it looks like we'll be able to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Let's figure this out for real. If we're going to keep it's unfortunate. You got to go.
I mean this seriously. I would play Zach Wilson. And
I don't think you have an option. That's Zach Wilson playing is better than going and getting Joe Flacco.
Yeah. I think Zach Wilson is a guy that you have to find a way to limit the mistakes. I just say you have to limit the mistakes. You have to limit what you're doing, because even the pick last night that he threw, it was interesting to see. They were almost like I feel like they were testing the waters. Like, all right, let's see what can happen, and then they got burned. Like they put their fingers into the fire and went, we can't do that anymore. And so they went back to the running attack, and they were very one-dimensional, and they were very boring, and they just played defense. And that, I think, is a recipe for success against certain rosters. The problem is, against a team like the 49ers, whose defense can match you, you're in trouble because you're going to lose game 17-3. Like, your defense is going to give up 14 to 17 points per game. But if your offense can't do anything, if you can't run the ball, if that's your whole offense is running the football, there could be a big problem for you.
Right.
So that's my take with it is I play Zach Wilson. I see what I have. I just know that there's going to be limitations to how far I can actually go.
100%. But
so
if you don't have a better option, I think that is the option.
Well, is Zach Wilson a better option than a veteran?
If you're going to bring in a veteran, you have to have a veteran who can throw the ball.
Well,
and get out of the way when people come after him, because it looks like, after watching the entire game, the Jets' offensive line may make playing quarterback
tough,
a little bit risky.
Tough. Look, he was the second pick in the draft. I mean, don't you have to let the kid at least
make it okay? The people have taken picks in a draft top 10 and been complete busts. Where you got picked doesn't matter. You saw the kid return the punt. He didn't get picked. You know, if you can play, you can play. Just because you got picked early doesn't mean you should get more chances, but they do.
Well, they should, because the contract.
Better.
I mean, he's got a 4-year contract on the guy. Like, it's going to
rip it up.
You can't.
And acknowledge you made a mistake.
But they didn't. If they were going to do that, the acknowledgement of the mistake was bringing in Aaron Rodgers. That was the acknowledgement.
Well, that now is off the table because he can't walk. He can't walk.
What do you think when did you see the shot of him coming out in the boot? When he came out and got on the actual cart, I was like, that's it. He's done. Goodbye.
Oh, he flipped the ball when he was on the ground. He flipped the ball with that look like, I'm done. And as soon as I saw the replay, and I was on with Ranieri and Taylor, I was like, oh, he's done. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, that looked bad. That's a painful injury, I've heard. He didn't even show one sign of emotion in his face, like he was wincing in pain, nothing. He was just like, oh, I'm done.
It's amazing. Really is. Yeah. All right, let's get to him.
Did you hear?
Live from the South Point. Let's bring in our guy.
There he is.
Chris Andrews. Hold on one second. Let me get everything.
Put him in the big box.
There he's in the big box, and we're good to go. Mr. Andrews, how are you? Welcome back to BVB. How are things at the South Point this morning?
Oh, busy this morning. We had a lot of movement, and particularly in the colleges, but also a lot of pro totals getting boards getting rattled there too. So busy this morning. Everybody's talking about the Aaron Rodgers thing. What kind of an adjustment do you make? It's
Chris,
been a little busy.
Is there a standard answer for that? Because I've been asked that all morning too, and I'm like, guys, everyone does it different. How much is somebody worth? It's only worth how much their backup is worth. It depends on what team. How the hell do you answer that question, Christopher?
Well, that's funny because I was working with William Hill. I went back to Cal Neva briefly to help him through the transition when William Hill bought them. And, these don't get me started on these European guys, but anyway, they want an algorithm.
You can say whatever you want.
Well, good. Thanks. They said, well, what's a backup quarterback worth? And this was, like I don't know, 2012, I guess, something like that.
Okay.
So I says, well, let me give you two examples. Tom Brady, the two best quarterbacks of the recent history, unquestionably, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Tom Brady goes out and the first game, and what happens to the Patriots? They go 11-5. They miss the playoffs by a tiebreaker. They had a very good season.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning goes out. They went 2-14. They were the worst team in the league.
Yep.
So you tell me how that adds up. I mean, there's just so many other variables. Of course, Matt Castle was. I mean, listen, he was just a mediocre journeyman quarterback. But but they had Belichick as a coach and a very good, system. And then for the Colts, I remember, I think it was it Tom Moore, the name of the offensive coordinator at the time.
Yep.
He says, listen, if 18 goes out, we suck. We don't practice suck. So we're just stuck with what we got, Yeah. So, I mean, and like I said, you're going to come up with a formula with that. You just can't. And, let's say, I don't want to knock Kenny Pickett too much, but he certainly didn't look good. But if he goes out and you bring in Trubisky, another guy who was like a number 2 overall draft choice, and he's serviceable. He's okay. Now Mahomes goes out. I can't, I always liked Henny as a backup, but he's retired now.
Yeah.
I can't think of who their backup is.
I don't know who it is either.
But it's going to be a big drop off. It's going to be a big drop off. So you just can't come up with a number. Every situation is just so much different.
Chris, I got into a little bit of an argument, shocker, on X, Twitter, whatever we're calling it now, last night, because I said refunding of bets for injuries is stupid.
Yes.
What is your take? What is your opinion on the quick reaction of, if you bet Aaron Rodgers, we're refunding everything right away because unfortunately he went out in the first 2 minutes of the game?
Well, I saw your tweet last night and I couldn't agree more. I thought it was perfect. And I know, Dave and I have had this discussion before over the years. You make a bet, you made a bet. What could I tell you? Sometimes the breaks go your way, sometimes they don't. And even I saw a poll this morning, and I don't know if you retweeted it, but it might have been Darren Ravel.
Yeah.
Said, even he asked the public, are you for injury refunds or not? And even the public, 67% said no. I mean, listen, in this business, it is a business of honor, and you just have to accept that's the way it goes. You win, you expect to get paid. You lose, you expect to pay. That's just the way it goes. And the breaks go both ways. And, it's a bad break if you had Rodgers maybe as an MVP or to lead the league in passing, or even, I guess it wasn't so bad if you had the Jets last night. That worked out in your favor. But, regardless, I mean, that's just the way this business works. And to screw it up at this point, and I know some of these places like the FanDuels, the DraftKings of the world, and some of these European guys want to do all that stuff. It's detrimental, and overall, it's going to have a negative effect on our business.
It's a slippery slope in determining where to go.
Right.
Which one do you do? Which one don't you do? Which team? Which player? What bets do you refund the futures to? It's too much. You make a bet. We grade it. When you win, you get the money.
Dave, how about on the kick return? There was an obvious tripping last night. I mean, so you get your money back if you had Buffalo because they tripped the guy. We saw it in the replay. I mean, I got to admit, I didn't catch it on the return when it happened. I needed the Jets pretty good, so I was very happy with it. So, but afterwards, I mean, that's just what happened. I mean, what are you going to do?
So Dallas was 2.5 or 3 before the game.
Yeah.
You wake up this morning and you go, well, obviously they're not that. And I did a show already this morning and I was asked, well, how do you adjust that? I said, you find that Jets number where somebody is actually going to give you money, whether it's a rhombus, a parallelogram, a bad guy, whomever. We got to find that number, right? This is one of those ones where you're sitting in a room and, with the guy next to you or the girl next to you now saying, get to the number. How do we get to the number with this game now, with them coming off a Monday night and going to Dallas, who look like world beaters on Sunday night?
Well, Dave, I was listening a little bit to your last segment, and you talked about the biggest problem, and this is before the Rodgers injury. With Rodgers, even in the lineup, we knew the offensive line for the Jets was bad. Now you're facing Dallas, who, well, I'll tell you what, they can rush the quarterback as good as anybody in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this number should be 10. I saw it kind of settle in at 9.5, so I am at 9.5 with the, with the market, with the adjustment. I kind of think it should be higher, but I got to say, I'm kind of rooting for this kid Wilson. I just think that, listen, it was a horrible choice, number 2 overall. I mean, there's no question about that. But I read where Rodgers really tried to help this kid an awful lot. The team. I don't know if they responded to him, but that defense is great. I mean, that's another variable in the equation. The Jets' defense is probably as good as anybody's in the league right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that might keep the score down and keep them in the game. So I guess, like I said, this morning when I looked at it, I preferred 10. I settled on 9.5 just to be within the market. I even see some 8.5s out there. But we'll see what happens. But I think 9.5 is an okay number. I don't feel like arguing over one little half point because I don't know. It's totally ambiguous. The team. I'm not sure if they responded to Wilson, but that defense was lights out last night. And I think they knew that the burden was on their back. Dave, I don't know if you remember. You were a little young. Boy, I don't even know if you were born yet. Jesus, I'm trying to think now.
I was born in 70.
Okay, well, you were 4 at the time when
all right.
When Bradshaw went out for the Steelers, and
Joe Gilliam.
Well, no, there's Mike Kruzik came in, and the Steelers. I forget. I think they still hold the record for the number of shutouts. It was on Green and Lambert and Ham and Mike Wagner and Mel Blount, all those guys. They knew they couldn't give up anything, and they had a bunch of shutouts. They didn't allow a touchdown, and I remember. When they finally allowed a touchdown after X amount of games, I can't remember who it was. Either Mike Wagner or Glenn Edwards slipped, and the guy got loose, and I think for the Oilers scored a touchdown. And they're all. I mean, they went like 6-7 games without allowing a touchdown. No, they weren't all shutouts, obviously.
Right.
But they didn't allow a touchdown. That was and I know we talk about the '85 Bears, and rightfully so. But I still think that one Steeler defense was probably the best I'd ever seen.
Huh. Week 1 to week 2. Oftentimes teams say their biggest adjustments, their biggest changes happened when they look bad in week 1. They can look much different in week 2. From a bookmaker perspective, how do you handle that? Do you let the public just bet you? Pros bet you? How do you handle week 1 to week 2?
Well, it's a great overreaction time. Excuse me. People overreact to everything that they saw last week, and I'm not a trend guy at all. I don't like that, and I always say that games are decided on the field, but the prices are decided by the public and the bookmakers and the odds makers. We have 2 situations. The one trend that I do look at is teams go from a home dog to a road favorite. We have 2 of those situations this week. The Colts were a home dog, and they looked pretty good, and I admit that. But now they go on the road at Houston. They're a road favorite. Same with Cleveland, was a home dog, and they go on the road to Pittsburgh, who looked horrible. Looked as if it weren't for the Giants, if it weren't for the Giants, they looked like the worst team in the NFL. But that team went from a home dog to a road favorite. And like I said, games are decided on the field, but prices are decided elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And right now, I think you get both those home dogs. I kind of like both of them. Just because of that situation, it hits at a pretty good clip. It's nothing's 100%, but it hits at a pretty good clip over the years. But to get to your point, it looked like overreactions to me. But there's a bunch of overreactions. And, I kind of like this week because I think the public overreacts, and we usually wind up doing pretty good.
So the book is open, despite the fact that Colorado won against Nebraska. Everything's still operational. San Francisco won and beat the Steelers. But it's rivalry week in Pittsburgh. The Browns are road favorites to the Steelers, Christopher. Like this Is this real? Am I looking at this? They're up to 2. You got them at 2. There's other books that put 2.5.
Yeah.
Matt likes to ask me these questions, and I'm just going to ask you because sometimes he doesn't believe me. Is that game getting to 3?
Well, let me look up. The ticket count right now is about 4 or 5 to 1 in favor of the Browns.
Yeah.
It's a Monday night game.
Yeah.
You know, it's called the Get Even or Get Even Worse game. So
put that on a T-shirt.
That's a good line.
Get even or get even worse. I love that.
The late game. That's what it is. So I think we're going to get a lot of play. Let's see how the public does on Saturday and Sunday. And again, I don't know what this. If they're winning, they're going to press. If they're losing, they're going to press. I think there's a chance that the game does get to 3.
Interesting.
I think there's a chance.
Chris, you mentioned there's been some movement with college. What are you guys seeing from an Alabama standpoint? They're over 30-point favorites on the road against South Florida coming up this weekend. They got their first loss. Texas went in there to Tuscaloosa and beat them up. What's been the reaction at your book for the Crimson Tide?
Hasn't been a big reaction yet, but just talking to a lot of people. And before the season, I even said, I think Ohio State and Alabama are going to be slightly off this year. And I think, so far that seems to be true. Bama, we knew was going to have some problems at quarterback. And I think, again, that seemed to be true. I guess we could say the same about Ohio State. Ohio State, their first couple games, they haven't even scored the point spread. And that's always that's a danger sign. That's a team that's way overrated. So you have situations this week where they're both kind of big favorites. Alabama, I haven't seen much movement on that game yet. Do you have a game number right there? Let me look up and see what we got on it.
Yeah, I got it. Let's see. Bama is 145, 146. You got 32.
Yeah. I really have nothing on the game right now. I mean, a lot of the little stuff on Alabama. But that's not a surprise. That's kind of, in the number every week. I think that number's about right. I think they may have found a team that could take some of their frustrations out on. But, that's I don't know. I would definitely have my questions about Alabama.
191, 192, Chrissy. We know this game very well. The backyard brawl. Pitt is playing West Virginia in West Virginia. Pitt off of a shit performance against Cincinnati.
Right.
And back home how much this game means to the people.
Oh, my God.
The betting amount stuff happens all over. This is a big game. This line flip. What's going on with this football game?
I made the number Pitt 1, so I have no beef with the number. I think that's good. But, Dave, I've been to I've gone to West Virginia one year. And I'm trying to think, Kaz Myslinski, was that you weren't born yet.
Wow.
Man, went down in that game and he got into a fight. It was the Pitt. I think it was whatever they call the president or the proctor or whatever it is.
Right.
He got into a fight on the football field.
God.
I mean, it was crazy. I remember going to a basketball game down in West Virginia. And, it was crazy. I remember the Pitt fans were throwing the popcorn on the court and all that. This is a bad rivalry. A quick little story. Whoops, there goes my phone. My cousin,
Hey up. There you go.
My cousin was having dinner like in some fancy restaurant in New York. And if you're, a lot of times everything's real tight, because it's, anyway, sitting right next to him is Bob Huggins.
Oh.
And anyway, has dinner, and on the way out, he says, "Hey, Coach, I want to tell you, nice seeing you. Hope you're feeling." This is after he had the heart attack. Nice seeing you. Hope you're feeling well. I got to tell you, I think you're a terrific coach, but when you're a player, I didn't like you very much. And Huggins looks at him right away and goes, "You're from Pitt, right?" He says, "Yeah, that's exactly right." Because we didn't like Huggins when he was back there. He was a pretty tough guy. But that rivalry goes back, and I'm glad to see they played Penn State again this year, and they played Pitt again this year. Those rivalries are so important to college football, and really what separates college from the pros.
Yeah, it's a shame losing a bunch of them.
Yeah.
No ranked teams are playing this week, Chris. This is one of the earliest in recent memory that we haven't seen a week without a ranked versus ranked game. What are you guys seeing right now from an action standpoint? What's the game of the weekend so far?
Oh man, I got to tell you, most bettors don't care about that.
Yep.
I mean, I'm seeing right now, I mean, I'm going through my list, and even as we're talking, I see a lot of moves happening. Games like you'd never expect. I'm looking at Iowa State and Ohio.
Yeah.
Who think they're playing the dog in that game, huh?
Well, they're just coming back on a favorite now. I opened the game 3. They took the 3, but now it's coming back to 3.
Okay.
I'm looking at like Rutgers, Virginia Tech. Of course, there's a quarterback injury for Virginia Tech. Northwestern and Duke, the GPA Bowl. I mean, a lot of money on that. So up and down the lineup. Now, come Saturday, your ordinary fan may stay home for some of these because there really is not that many good games out there. But I can tell you early in the week, and that's when the serious bettors are kind of rattling the board. They've been rattling it pretty good this morning. We've been really busy this morning. We've had a lot of action. So
last one for me,
see.
sir, before we let you get back to actually working. Because you keep telling me I got to get a real job. You still have a real job.
Yeah, is that what you're not calling this a real job? Right?
This is a real job, Christopher.
Right,
we're calling it what we can. Please, my wife watches the show. She's going to tell me. If Chris said it, you got to start doing something.
Don't worry. I tease Michael Gaughan sometimes too. He says, I'll have lunch with him or something. He says, all right, you better get back to work. And I'll say, work? Really? Is that what we're calling it?
Oh, boy,
I know I'm employed, but
Listen, as long as Michael's writing the checks, you call it whatever Michael wants to call it. That's it.
So far, all the checks have cleared. I got to tell you.
So Tuesday, we got a big weekend, right? We're following up with all the football and everything. And then you walk into work on Tuesday, you see these line moves and everything, and there's no games except baseball. Yeah. Tell people what the handle is like on baseball, because Matt is smoking hot on baseball now. He has all the data. He's rolling right now, picking games and sides and totals. He's rolling. And people want to stop betting baseball in September and want to bet the football. It's true. There's nobody betting baseball in September in a book, is there?
Well, I'm looking at the Giants Guardians game. I mean, I got 10,000 on each side.
That's what
11 o'clock in the morning. So I mean, they're still rattling the board pretty good. So I mean, usually I try to put out today's baseball from the South Point. Because we run a dime line. I think we got the best line. The tightest straddles, in the world. Even Pinnacle doesn't have better numbers than we do. So our baseball business is probably, when you add it up at the end of the year, there's a couple reasons for it. Number one, we do use a tight straddle. The other reason too, we have parking right by the book. I mean, now sometimes the parking lot's full. There's nothing I can do about that. That's the way our business is. But if you could park, you can run in, make your bet, run out. I mean, at the end of the year, it's and I can't give you the exact numbers, but it's when we ran it for the last time, which was a couple years ago. It's remarkable how close it is to the football season. When you look at the numbers, because you got to remember, it's every day. Starts late March, ends now in November. So you add everything together between the daily, just the number, the first 5 innings. We put in team totals. We got will they score in the first inning, which guys love that bet. So I mean, we do a lot of baseball business. And Dave, you've been around. I mean, you're using a dime line. Your win percentage is going to be very slight. Right. But it creates a lot of traffic, brings guys in, and overall, I mean, we win a little bit at the end of the year. It's not, it's not fantastic, but the handle's monstrous. Probably, percentage wise, probably better than almost anybody in town, I would say.
Very cool. Last one. What do you think the closing number will be for Thursday night with the Vikings on the road at the Eagles? It seems like that's going to be 6.5, 7.5, kind of ping-ponging through the week. Yeah. Was it close that in your mind on Thursday?
Well, I opened the game 8, and I didn't have a strong opinion on the game, but I thought 8 was a better number. They bet me. They took the 8. They took the 7.5. I have a feeling we'll get back to 7.5 somewhere by Thursday. We don't juice numbers. Everything we keep at 11 to 10. I have a feeling we'll get back to 7.5 on that game. But I got to tell you, the Eagles won. They covered. They didn't look all that great. I got to tell you. But the Vikings didn't look so hot either. We all know it. Yeah, I mean, they lost last year. We know that they had a negative point differential, even though they had 13 wins or whatever it was. Yeah, so I think people were looking for the Vikings to fall a little flat on their face. Let me just say that is a trend that holds up most of the time, but most of the time is not all the time. So I'd be careful with that. I think the Vikings will drop back a little bit, but that division is not all that tough, certainly at this point. Everybody's looking at Detroit, and they won. They won a big game. They don't look all that great either. The Bears don't look so good, and the jury's still out on the Packers. So far, so good, but the jury's still out.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of people texting me about the other stuff with the studio and other stuff. Yeah. Follow you on Twitter. Go by, say hi to Chris. I don't want to get involved in that, but there's a lot going on. Yeah. So we're not going to talk about that. I have an addendum. I had no more questions, but now I have one.
Okay.
Patriots, Steelers, both 0-1, Chris.
Yeah.
It's okay to say it. Who's going to have more wins?
Oh, boy.
Well, it's a tough one. But, Dave, I hate saying this, but I think the Patriots.
You're off the show. That's it.
I would agree.
I
would agree.
Let me tell you why. I really, and I've been saying this since they signed him. I think Bill O'Brien is really going to help Mac Jones.
Oh, my God.
O'Brien's a terrific coach. And, he was a horrible general manager, but he was a really good coach. And I think he's really gonna help Mac Jones. I'm sorry, Dave.
That's okay.
You're welcome. That's whatever you want. Open invitation. Whatever you want to come on. Chris, thank you.
I know I was going to piss one of you guys off, but sorry, Dave. I had to go that way.
You're the best. Talk to you soon. That's Chris Andrews of the South Point joining us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. Great to get him on the program.
Knew he was going to say that. He's right.
Smart man. Welcome on this show. Everyone's on this show. Whenever he wants to come on this show. Open invitation to this. The reason why it's worth asking that question, by the way, is Josh Allen.
What
4 turnovers last night for Josh Allen.
With this question,
because the Patriots could win a game against the Bills. The Patriots could wind up going 3-3, 4-2 in the division. I'll tell you one thing. You want to talk about somebody who is an absolute 100% lay whatever the fuck you got to lay against is Zach Wilson against the Patriots. Bill Belichick literally is in that kid's dreams. He can't throw a pass when Belichick's defense is on the field. He is literally peeing himself consistently. Look at his numbers against a Belichick coach defense. He is awful.
Don't play this week. Stay focused.
Awful. We're talking about Patriots versus Jets. I'm just telling you, 4-2. The Pats going 2-0 against the Jets is back on the table. It's on the table now. The Patriots are go 2-0 against the Jets. They split with the others. They go 4-2 in the division, and that's how they wind up with more wins than the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Damn it. It was a good argument. Damn it.
And Josh Allen, I mean, look, I'm not ready to jump. I'm not jumping on this bandwagon at the moment, but there are a lot of people who are giving themselves pats on the back. I bet interception last night. I thought he'd throw a pick. I think he'd throw 3 and have a fumble. But a lot of people are calling this the Josh regression year, that this is when he starts to go bad because all the mistakes. He threw 14 picks last year. He has been a walking turnover that the defenses now have exactly what they need to do to create situations to force those turnovers. And it's hard to argue after game 1 with 4 turnovers for Josh Allen. I mean, look at this. I mean, you're
right. This is you're right. I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm like, I can't even always try to present both sides of the argument and discussion. And what do we do?
Like, I mean, how about Jordan Whitehead last night? He had a contract clause for 3 picks all year to get $250,000. He got 3 in one game, the first game.
No wonder why I was so excited with that third one.
The first
made
game.
$250,000. I just won a house
in one game.
Yeah, we're good. Call the wife, say we're paying the mortgage off. Done. See ya. Oh man, that's
It's unbelievable. But you have to look at this and go, okay, Josh Allen, you have a very difficult schedule. You can't throw the ball. He threw 2 picks in the end zone or by the end zone.
Well, the one was like a punt. But the other one, yeah, you can't
throw in a double coverage consistently.
Don't you feel like when I watch them play, I always feel like they should be leading by more.
That
like
they
their
are, right?
games are always like they keep the other team in a game
because
they turn the ball over too much. What is that graphic? What
is the AFC East wide open?
At least you put the Pats at the back.
Like Dolphins are 1-0, Jets are 1-0, Patriots are 0-1, Bills are 0-1. I think this division is wide open. I think any of the 4 teams can win the division.
Which is kind of what we said when we did the team previews.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you go back and look, I think we had every season, it was hard to come up with a win total that was under in this division. I said it was the Jets.
Me too. You said Patriots too, though.
Well, I'm rooting for the Patriots under, but now
you said Patriots.
Now it's like, you know, they actually can do this because if they win, had them 2-4 in the division, they can go 3-3 now, which would push them to 8, 9 wins. I don't know what's it going to take to win this division now. I mean,
10.
I think it always took 10. It might take 11.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they could.
One of these teams is going to have to separate itself.
They could beat up on each other, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be just all the teams could wind up going 3-3, just crushing on, beating up on each other. It's possible. I mean, look, the Dolphins, if you talk about who looks the best, the Dolphins look the best, but there's 2 big questions with the Dolphins. Obviously, their defense gave up 34 points. Okay.
Right.
It's a big question. And the second is Tua is 1 snap away from being done.
Well,
I mean, you were talking about Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers was 1 snap away, and he's done.
Yeah. So Tua is the same deal. Tua is playing behind an okay offensive line, but everyone's saying the jiu-jitsu, him learning how to fall and the helmet padding, he gets hit in the head, helmet to helmet, running the football. Forget it. I'm not saying anyone's going to take a shot at him, but if he's running the ball, if he's scrambling, he's a runner, he's free game. 1 big hit, and that could be it for Tua. So I don't trust the Dolphins at all. I don't care what he did in week 1.
How about the hits that Josh Allen takes? It's only 1 week, but he took hits last night. He's a big dude.
He is much,
but he runs upright.
He does.
And
he likes contact. He looks for
I understand, but what is their backup situation? He's turning the ball over. I don't know. Like this, it's crazy. It is. I still like Miami. I liked Miami before all this. I like Miami now, but they didn't stop anybody on Sunday. The Chargers went up and down the field, and the Chargers didn't give them the game. Miami won the game, but it's not that style of game. It's not going to work against the Jets. It's not going to work, I don't think, against the Bills.
It's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out. I can't wait to see. Because the Patriots and the Jets,
right now,
Patriots and Jets are going to play the same way now. Okay, Patriots and Jets both have issues with the quarterback. They both have a running game that they really like. Ramondre Stevenson did not have a big game against the Eagles, but I think he gets going here in week number 2. Zeke Elliott, I think, is going to be more of a red zone threat as the year progresses. They tried to give him the ball in different spaces. I don't really know how they're going to use him, but it's going to be Stevenson and then some Zeke. It's going to be Hall and then some Cook for the Jets. Those 2 teams are going to play like it's 1985, and they're going to run the ball and play defense. The Bills, whose defense is still very, very good, but if their offense puts them into very difficult positions consistently with turnovers, I don't care how good the defense is, they're going to give up points.
Right.
So that's a big concern. The Dolphins don't have a defense, but they can outscore everybody. I mean, I
feel like we just went back to 1985. That's the way the Dolphins played with Dan Marino. Let's score. Fair. We can't run the ball that great. The Patriots played good defense and, had enough to compete.
Tippett.
Bills were the Bills. Oh, that team was awesome. That's when I liked the Patriots.
Tippett was my favorite Patriot.
Oh, my God.
Because I always looked at Lawrence Taylor as the guy. Like Lawrence Taylor was it, and we had like the mini-me version of Lawrence Taylor and Andre Tippett. So I always thought that like the Patriots had a guy, like they had a defensive end that could kill the quarterback. Like, let's go. It was great.
Yeah. So we've kind of gone back there, where the Jets were. But the Jets were competitive back then too. Richard Todd and Freeman McNeil and all those guys. We'll ask the chat right now. We got triple digits in here watching the show live. And again, thank you guys for being here, watching, subscribing, all the above. Who wins the AFC East today after week 1? You've got the graphics right there. You've got the records right there. Who's your pick? Because I think it's not drastically different, but it's very different, noticeably different than it was a week ago when we asked this question.
Because look at here's the question now. If you're gonna bring that up, let me ask you this. If it's wide open, FanDuel has the numbers as such. The Bills are plus 145. Wait a minute. How's that? It's out of order. Wait, what? So the system's not working right now because it's Bills plus 145, Dolphins plus 140. That should be flipped. The Dolphins are the odds-on favorite right now to win the division, but not by a lot, by a nickel. Jets are plus 550. Patriots are plus 900. Any value in taking the Patriots 9-1?
What the hell? Wait, hold on. Say that again. I got to look at that. Hold on. Sorry.
If you go to draft, if you go to FanDuel, they have the numbers wrong because they have the Dolphins at plus 140 and the Bills at plus 145 in a spot where the Dolphins should be flipped. They should be the odds-on favorite, but the numbers are out of order. Jets are plus 550, Patriots 9-1.
Why is my computer not working?
I don't think the Patriots win the division. I don't think that's. I think you can. But the Jets at 5-1 or 5.5-1, it would be insane. But their defense could put them in positions to be in football games.
Oh, they're changing it.
As we
changing
speak,
it right now.
Okay.
Bills 45, Dolphins 40, Jets 550, Patriots 9.
Right, it's backwards still. It's.
Well, yeah, they're adjusting it as we speak. Literally, the numbers just changed in front of my eyes. So they won't move it over. They'll leave it like that.
They will?
Yeah. They'll leave it like that. I don't know. That's a hard question. I'm getting blown up by Rob. Meadowlands Rob already with the picks. We'll get to it after the show. Said the picks are in wrong. I don't know. We'll see. So,
okay.
All right. We'll get it taken care of.
We'll figure that out.
Yep. Sorry, that was a distraction. Trying to do the show.
No worries. So kick returns are a problem. The NFL has kind of decided that the kickoff is not something that they really want. Historically low in week 1, 20.5% kickoff return rate, which is the desired result of a new rule that would make it not advantageous to return kickoffs. If we're doing this, and I think punt returns need to always be a part of it because the Jets just won a game on it, but would you be in favor of getting rid of it?
No. I like the kickoffs.
I'm with you. I also think it's tough because there's a lot of guys that make their career on special teams.
100%.
And if you decide to say that special teams don't matter, we're taking out a lot of jobs. Like, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but Bill Belichick did a 10-minute amazing speech on the development and the overall, over the years, how a long snapper became a thing in the NFL. Like, he went through the entire legacy of the position and how it became part of a team and how, because it used to be not a specialty. It used to be something that everybody did. I mean, quarterbacks were punters for a while and kickers were also punters for a while and long snappers were centers and you played multiple positions. And then it became more of a specialty where you became just the long snapper and that's all you did, but you were a long snapper. It's a pretty good job. You were a punter. That's all you were going to do. I'm not really in favor of getting rid of kickoffs. I think it's part of the game. I know injuries happen. They're trying to limit injuries. I get all that, but I think it's part of fumbles, onside kicks. Like I don't want to get rid of that. I don't want to just start at the 25-yard line every time, and that's where we start.
Yeah. What's the alternative? You can't just start. You just turn the ball over and start it where? Like what's the alternative? If there's no better alternative, I don't think we can get rid of it. Right? Like we got to come up with something better before we say eliminate.
I don't think there is anything better, because if you're talking possession, you have to I love the fact that the defense puts the ball into play.
Right.
And there's no other way of doing that. Otherwise, the offense puts the ball into play, and we fundamentally change the way the game's being played. We're fundamentally changing how football, from a possession standpoint, we're changing everything.
Yeah.
Like I understand what they're trying to do, but only 20%. The touchback rate was 77.6%. It's the highest since 2000, very likely a league record for the highest number of touchbacks. Now, this is the rule change. Remember, you can take a fair catch at the 5-yard line, and the ball goes to the 25. Which I'm okay with. I don't love it, but I don't hate it, because, again, the defense is the one putting the ball into play. So, as a kicker, I can determine, do I want to kick a squib kick? Do I want to kick onside kick? Do I want to kick it away? I mean, we saw the Broncos did it on the first kickoff of the year. They tried an onside kick right away, trying to steal a possession from the Raiders.
Right.
And they wound up losing the game by 1 point, mostly off that possession. So I like that. That's a little nuance of football that keeps it going the way I want it to keep going. I like that.
Yeah, I don't see a better alternative. So I like it too. I don't think anything should be eliminated yet. I don't like the safety argument like this. When they use that, I don't think it's.
Well, the numbers are there.
They're playing more games. They're playing less this, that, it's just, they use that in the safety argument, and that's not valid to me. I mean, they're running and hitting each other. Yes. And so now, did you see the way, was it the USFL, that the way they did kickoffs where everybody was standing still and something that maybe lessen the collisions? I don't think there's anything, if there's nothing better, why eliminate it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very hard for football in the next couple of years, as we're going to start to go through this conversation, because we're going to start to really change the product. And you got to be very careful with that, because, I mean, look, we went through about a decade where football became all about fantasy football before we made PASPA and we made sports betting legal.
Yeah.
We changed every rule to make it more advantageous for offenses. You can't hit the quarterback high. You can't hit the quarterback low. You can't hit a receiver when he's up in the air. You can't you can't cut anymore as an offensive lineman. We've tried to do all these different things. And what happened? There was like no scoring in week 1. It was bizarre. We were all watching going like, where's the offense? And if they've made such incredible rule changes now that we don't have offense anymore because of these changes like this, where we don't get short fields, because part of the fun of a kickoff is that, okay, I can start at the 50-yard line. That makes it much easier to score than when I start from the 25-yard line. So if we're going to take out kickoffs and the potential for returns, if we're only going to run the ball back 20% of the time, you're completely eliminating the opportunity for a kick return touchdown or a kick return to the red zone or something really special. And the kid that had the kick return for the Gibson kid for the Jets, he wouldn't be on the roster. They put him on the roster for that play. Now, punt returns aren't ever going to go away. I don't think that'll ever change. But kickoffs, I mean, that's a guy you want kickoff return guys to be able to be electric and do things with the ball in their hands. So I don't know. We'll see, but I'm not a very big fan of it personally. Just to give YouTube TV a attaboy, I guess, because they went through the whole day and I didn't see any big problems with the Sunday ticket. I thought we'd see a bunch. I think they did a pretty good job of marketing it, pushing it. People weren't
you got the response bot going.
Yes. Like, well, because I hate it. I mean, the 4 box is a joke. I mean, it works. Okay. First and foremost, it has to work. Okay. And it worked.
Okay.
Worked for most people. It worked.
Yep.
I don't like the fact that they give you pre-populated 4 boxes, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. If you were putting it, I felt like it was being put together by somebody who's not a football fan, because the Ravens, Browns, and Steelers all played at the same time. There should be a way of watching all AFC North teams. If they're playing at the same time, I should be able to watch them all simultaneously.
Right.
And if you don't give me that option, I need an option to build what games are in the 4 box. I guess Fubo TV has that technology, I was told. I've never used Fubo TV, but the Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV does not. Now, they give you a litany of options, and people who have never had the Sunday Ticket before went, oh, this is awesome. Look at my different games I can put on the screen. And they thought it was great. But for those of us who have had the Sunday Ticket for a decade or so with DirecTV, we were frustrated because I could always watch. If there were 8 games being played, I could watch them all on one screen. If there were 9, that was the one little hook where, okay, fine, I couldn't watch them all, but I could see 8 of the 9. This is as I was seeing 4 of the 9. I wasn't seeing, I really had to play around to try to find the games I had money on, and I had money on the Steelers, the Ravens, and the Browns. I wanted to watch all their games. I wanted to watch all their actions. Like, show me what's going on one screen.
Seems like a simple request.
It seems like a logical request, because if you're going to put group teams together, why wouldn't you group divisional games together? That just seems logical. So hopefully there's somebody that asks the right questions and sees a response for it, because it really does suck. It's the one thing that was the worst thing about it is the pre-populated 4 box. I don't want you to pick it for me. I want to pick what games I'm interested in, not the other way around. So we'll see how that goes and how that develops. That's my only critique of the whole thing. Everything else was relatively fine. It's a little bit on the lag side, but that's can be expected. You know, it's YouTube TV. We'll see how many people keep it. You know, it was a trial it was a 1-week trial for week 1. Everybody gets billed next week. We'll see how many people keep it.
I don't know. We got to watch the games down at the sports book at the Yahoo Sportsbook, at the Venetian. Still fun to me watching all the games in one place. I could do without the blasting of the audio, but I don't know why sportsbooks, since the beginning of time, since I moved here, I would say, why is the volume so loud? At least you can still control the volume. When you see the 4 box, do you pick the audio at least of the game?
Yep.
Okay, so you can pick which game and you can switch the audio.
Yep. Of the 4 box on the screen. You can't.
Right.
If it's 4 games, you can choose which game has the audio. Yes.
Okay, so that's a good thing. So yeah, so it's close. It sounds like it's close. That's good to know.
It's okay. I mean, it worked. The best thing about it is that it was better than Amazon. Amazon's first run out of the gate, there was some real issues with Amazon when it came out on that first Thursday. Wow. So that was not the case. They were prepared. They got the crush down. They got it good. It worked. It didn't crash. Nothing went down. It worked. So the bottom line is you're now arguing about the way that it's working, not did it work, yes or no. It worked.
Did you guys like it watching the show? Put it in the chat, yes or no. Did you like if you had YouTube TV? I just looked down. I saw Greg Macaluso said he agrees because also the 4 box was a little too small, I think, if it was able to split and watch 2 games.
They have that available. You can do that. Okay. They have 2 boxes too. Yep. They have, it's all, again, but it's pre-populated, but they do have pre-populated 2 boxes. But
wait, so you can do 2 boxes, but you can't pick which 2 games to pair?
Correct.
Man, for someone who likes to do what they want to do or like to do, that had to drive you crazy.
Thus the argument and the rant on Twitter that got the bot involved. The YouTube bot started coming at me saying, we were sorry. We have many populated 4 boxes for you to be able to watch, but we do not have the ability to change it. And I was like, okay, thanks. Appreciate that. That sucks. You should be able to change.
Do the voice again.
No, just that sucks. There's no ifs and buts about it. That sucks that was going down. So 1,985 survivors were eliminated of the 9,267 entries in 1 week.
Yes.
It's a pretty good haircut, is it not?
It is, but 31 of those people were eliminated because they didn't put the picks in. That's brutal. Then the herd thins itself pretty quickly in this thing. It's going to do it again this week. This week is going to be tough. The picks are going to be spread all over. I think, though, overwhelming choice will be San Francisco. That's, they're going to the Rams. They're the biggest spread. Do you want to save them?
I would agree with it. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to save them or not. I want to keep going.
Yeah, and they can't. The Rams can't beat the Niners. Is it at San? It's at San Fran?
No, it's at the Rams.
Ooh,
it's at the Rams. You picking the Giants at the Arizona? The line already went to 5.5.
I told you I like that yesterday.
I know. That's you can pick that one.
Yeah.
Or I think the other option is really Detroit. But you got to save Detroit for Thanksgiving. They're 6-point favorites against Seattle. Do you do that? Otherwise, you got every game is 3 or less. That's it. I don't know what else you pick. So, good luck. We'll have options. I mean, when you look at the board, what's your first choice?
Right now, my first survivor choice would probably be the Bills over the Raiders.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah, that's the biggest spread, actually. Well, now do you pick Dallas? Dallas is playing at home against the Jets. We just talked to Chris. 9.5?
I want to see more of the Jets before. It's the most important position, but I can't until I see Wilson could be good. Who knows? Maybe Aaron Rodgers maybe he's found his job as a quarterback whisperer with Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh,
I mean, he threw a pick last night, but I'm just saying I want to see a little more. I want to see what before I start fading Zach Wilson like that, and burning the Cowboys, because the Cowboys definitely have easier games on their schedule to burn them for. I don't want to play around with that. I don't want to get in front of a potential train that is like all of a sudden here comes the Jets with Zach Wilson, and he's got no pressure now and he's just free.
Bills will be the most picked.
Yeah, and they should be.
They're home.
Yeah, and they should be. And they lost. They should be. It's a short week, but they're pissed off.
They're the most picked on Yahoo so far.
Yeah.
There you go.
They will be. I mean, it makes sense that they'd be the most picked so far. So
right.
A couple of basketball stories. The first, on Wednesday, tomorrow, the NBA Board of Governors will vote to potentially levy a $1 million plus fine on teams for resting stars. They are trying very hard to get rid of load management in the NBA.
How are they going to do this?
You a fan of this?
How are they going to do it? How's this instituted?
You're allowed to. You're allowed. Here's the rule. The rule passed: teams may not rest more than one healthy player who has made an All-Star or All-NBA team in the previous 3 seasons in any game, and must play all their healthy stars during the games on national TV or the in-season tournament.
That's great. What lawyer wrote that?
That's the rule.
What the hell is that? The Board of Governors? Does that include the players' reps?
No, that's just the people. That's the owners. But they control it based upon the CBA.
Oh, it's going to make things worse. At
really?
Now,
worse?
Yeah.
Why would it make it worse? Faking injuries, you mean?
Oh, the players aren't going to play if they don't have to play. They're not going to.
Yeah, but
so
the team,
they're going to find a team.
And they'll find the player. We'll find you $1 million. You're going to play.
I'm hurt.
You can hurt. No, you can't. That's the
thing. I'm hurt.
Okay, you can say you're hurt, but if the team thinks you're not hurt and it leaks out that you're faking, that's bad.
I'm not faking. My knee's killing me. I can't play tonight. I could go ask the trainer. Trainer, is he hurt? Dave's hurt. Yeah, his knee's killing him. How do we prove it? We got to do an MRI. Do an MRI. Well, the MRI doesn't show nothing. This sounds like a fucking disaster.
$1 million plus
better?
fine. $1 million. I don't know what it makes better or not, but they're definitely not going to allow teams to rest multiple stars.
So you take turns now? If you
This
do
is
it
all
right?
about the in 24-25. That is when the TV revenue, the TV contracts are up for the NBA. This is all about jacking up they want 23-24 to be a highly watched year.
They got more issues than worrying about the players and how they're going to do it. You remember that there was a song where the guy went, "My neck, my back, my neck." Every night it's going to be something else, right? My neck, my back,
Again,
my ankle.
I don't know exactly how you're declared eligible to play. If you're cleared by a trainer to play, can you say I'm not playing? And if you say I'm hurt, I don't care what the trainer says, who wins that conversation?
Man, oh man, this is going to be.
Again,
You know what they need to do?
If the rule passed, teams may not rest
more than one healthy player, and it can only be a good player. So it has to make an all-star team or an all-NBA team in the previous three seasons. So the old guys can rest.
3. Yeah, old guys can rest.
Yeah.
They must play all their healthy stars during games on national TV or the in-season tournament. From a bookmaker perspective, don't you like this? Doesn't it give you more consistency?
I don't think it will. In theory, it sounds great. As a player, you want to play all the games.
Right.
I would think you'd want to play all the games, but they've been allowed to not play the games, and it's made for when you talk to people who bet the NBA, they've been more unhappy to bet the NBA than they were before that. And people betting the NBA usually are not happy to begin with. So it didn't make it any better. I don't think this is going to make it clearer. I don't think this is going to make it better. I think you know what would work? Play 60 games a year. Go play 60. If you tell them they're playing 60 and they got 2 back-to-backs the whole season, they'll play every game. They don't have to now. There's too many games. There's too many back-to-backs. So, the players pushed back. But this sounds great in theory. Do you think this is going to work?
I need to see, are they actually going to fine a team $1 million? This is not a small amount of money for one game. It's $1 million. Are you just going to hold the stick or are you going to swing it?
What's the salary? Guys make $40 million a year to play in the NBA. Guys aren't even that good.
This is the team, not a player. The team gets $1 million fine.
I understand. They're paying people. What's the payroll and the average payroll for the NBA?
$120 million.
So $1 million fine is a lot. You could get fined 10 times during the season.
The average NBA player makes $9.6 million.
Okay, there's 12 guys on a team.
Right. The Warriors. Right? So last year, the Golden State Warriors payroll was $209 million.
We're gonna fine them $1 million.
Number one salary.
They can get fined 20 times. That's 10% of the salary. How much money are they making? It's a joke. It's a joke.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, I don't know.
I enjoy basketball. I like watching it when it's competitive. I booked it forever. And I did it. I literally, when I came back from West Virginia, nobody wanted to do it. Like, who's doing the NBA? And everybody crawled under their desk. I'll never forget it. I just landed. Like, it was the second day I was there. And everybody like, we're breaking up the sports. Who's going to do the futures and this and that? Who wants the NBA? And literally everybody did. If we were all standing on the line, they took 2 steps back. And I was like, I'll do it.
I'll do it. Yeah.
So I got back into it. And now this would help. But I mean, this is the Board of Governors is going to rubber stamp this. Is this passed tomorrow?
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Oh boy.
It sounds like it's going to pass. The other basketball story is there is a new Las Vegas-based 16-team tournament coming here.
What is this?
The Big 12, the Big 10, and the Big East are in talks to have a new tournament based at T-Mobile Arena for teams that missed the big dance and didn't play in the NIT. So they're all talking because they have the same
CBI type thing, like
kind of, yeah, because they all have a deal with Fox. So it would be a made-for-TV bracket that would play in between the Elite Eight and the Final Four that week.
Of all the bad teams?
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, because if you don't make the dance and you don't make the NIT, it spring semester starts like that. Like you're done. You're going to tell them they're going to go play in the tournament in Vegas?
Yeah, multiple sources predict that it's more likely than not that this setup eventually happens. If it does, it would mark the first time in the history of college basketball that a television network explicitly organized a postseason tournament. The Messenger reported, in an effort to maximize its appeal, the two major parts of Fox's pitch are to build a third-party name, image, and likeness element into the event so players will be tempted to participate and hold it after the Elite Eight and before the Final Four. It would have it be competing with the end of the NIT, which, by the way, was played here in Las Vegas last year.
Which I went to the finals with Chris, actually, and Richie, and we had a great time. There was not even half the building was sold out. So that was the NIT final.
Yeah.
Who is this appeal to other than the TV people?
Not free, but a trip to Vegas is what it does. It gives fan bases.
You got to pay when you're to school, right? This is going to cost you to come.
No, I doubt it. No, because this is part of the TV contract. Fox will be organizing this. So they won't have the same situation. The reason why the CBI and the CIT is so crazy is because of they have to put up bids to host and all that other nonsense. This is one building, one network, 3 conferences. 16-team tournament can be done in 4 days easy. It's a made-for-TV event. It's a you get a trip to Vegas. Come on in, be a part of it. Pull coaches away from the Final Four. Be here in Las Vegas, which is a big recruiting ground on the West Coast. You got a lot of Big East schools who come west, have a chance to showcase their products west on national TV when everybody's jonesing for basketball because we just had the Elite Eight. Now we're heading down to 3 more games left. So remember, we've all gone crazy with March Madness. It's all been bonkers, crazy games. We're down to 4 teams now, and we're going to give you a 3-conference tournament Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday before we go to play for the Final Four.
In that window, it may be appealing. Can you choose to not play it? DGen4TW just came in and asked, could you choose to not play it in the NIT like Carolina did?
It's a good question. I don't know. I mean, my gut tells me you would not because it's only involving 3 conferences. So you're going to play brand name schools. I mean, you're going to play the bottom of the Big 12, the bottom of the Big East, and the bottom of the Big 10, which is still, those still name brand schools.
After you lose, just say you go 18 games, say you go 5-13 in conference, you go to the conference tournament in Chicago for the Big 10 and you get whacked. Then you got to keep practicing and circle back to kids 2 weeks later and say, hey guys, we're going to Vegas. Let's go. Rally the troops. We're going to keep practicing, extend that season, all that other stuff. Or do they just say, all right, yeah, we'll go to Vegas. We'll see you guys in 10 days. Take 10 days off. We'll practice a couple days before we'll go out. We'll run it best we can. I don't understand the incentive. Like, I'm just trying to think of from a coaching standpoint and as a kid standpoint. Like, how do we keep this? When the season ends, it ends. Like, everybody got to go do their own thing. Everybody goes their own way. You're already working on recruiting. This extends all that for what? For a made-for-TV tournament?
Yep.
A trip to Vegas?
Yep. Which I think can work. I mean, one of the things they're talking about is the complications with players who opt to end their seasons and seek to transfer elsewhere. As CBS Sports reports, failing to make the NCAA tournament is prone to breeding roster turnover. There's a chance that some teams could still turn down this opportunity or, short of that, send thinner rosters and or smaller coaching staffs because of that reason. As of now, talks are centering around just men's teams playing in this tournament.
Oh,
but maybe women's team at some point would go and play in it. I mean, I think it's wild that they have it here, though. I mean, it's another thing. It's a permanent tournament at T-Mobile Arena where every year you would have the chance to go watch, 4, 2, and 1 games.
Keep getting asked if I ever want to leave Vegas. Finally, everything is coming to Vegas. I like it. Like, this is great. There's stuff here all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
because the stink is off. You can't do it anymore. No one's gonna go. No one's gonna be mad at you for doing it.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't do it for. Do you want? Makes you wonder how long they probably wanted to do it.
Yes, decades and decades and decades.
Say it all the time in the book. Like, do it here.
Right.
We got all these buildings, all these people, all these hotels. We'll get you in and out. Before this F1, the traffic wasn't even that bad. We could get you around. We had so much fun the last 2 years going to these conference tournament basketball games.
Yeah.
I mean, we took the kids. They had a blast with Grand Canyon winning that game and the band and how much fun that was.
They were so fun.
It was awesome. So from a selfish standpoint, it would be fun. I just don't know for the kids and the coaches and stuff. I don't know if it'd be fun.
This was a question from our super chat yesterday. You guys can do this during bonus time. If you hit the super chat and ask us a question, we'll get to a topic. The Julio Rodriguez over 1.5 bases came in easily yesterday. Second Mariner for a 30-30 season.
Yes.
As he went off yesterday for the Mariners. However, they are out of the playoffs as of today.
Yep.
Any concern going into the Seattle Mariners season right now?
Yes. Big concern.
Rangers woke up a little bit.
Well, and the concern is because of the way they're losing the games. Like they're blowing games against teams that they should be beating in games they're winning and then not. So I don't know. I'm concerned. They make the playoffs though, right?
I mean, right now they're out. I mean, right now the Blue Jays are in the playoffs. So Rays or the Orioles are in. The Rays are making it. The Blue Jays, I mean, it's Texas and Seattle fighting for that last spot with a half a game lead for the Blue Jays. You got 3 teams for 2 spots now in the American League. You can cross off the Red Sox. They're gone. So
the Red Sox are going to sweep the Yankees this week, and
that's fine. It doesn't matter though. They're 4 games. I mean, they're having a real tough time. I mean, a 4-game losing streak right now is death. Seattle's got to get it going.
Yeah. Who was it? Was that Addison yesterday that had that super chat with the?
I believe so. Yeah.
Julio Rodriguez thing. I just want to recognize when we think of it. He's one of our moderators in the chat. Thank you very much, sir. It was a good play. I don't know the Woo today. It's minus 220.
Lost 4 in a row and give them $2 favorites.
Somebody's watching. Somebody's watching the show. They're moving it right now. Moving it up. Seattle wins today. 220, 200, 210. Boy, oh boy. Wainwright's pitching, by the way, for St. Louis today.
I know.
Yeah. I just want to remind the people.
Oh, you'll get it during Better to Book It. Don't worry.
I know.
Brewers crushed the Marlins 12-0 yesterday. They come back as minus 160 favorites. They had won 7 of 10, the Marlins, but they got beat up pretty bad yesterday. Back on Milwaukee today.
Yeah. I don't know if your phone worked. I mean, I know the guy just had a baby daughter, and again, congratulations to our friend Mr. C, but I didn't get the Marlins are hot text yesterday. Did you?
No.
I don't know. My phone's right here. I didn't get it, Christopher.
No.
I don't have it. It didn't work. I'm just kidding, sir. Listen, these things are going to happen. There's going to be ups, downs the rest of the way. There's going to be things. Perrault's pitching today. The price is justified. The total, the game's going. Is it going under?
Didn't yesterday.
No.
So I don't know. Bats are hot for the Brewers.
They are.
12-0. Yeah. My gosh. Yeah. I mean, in the National League, you have Cubs, Diamondbacks, Giants, Marlins, Reds, all being separated by a total of 4 games.
I think it's great. I like looking at
5 teams, 2 spots.
Yeah. After the show, I'll go to lunch and I'll just sit and look at the standings and go, okay, this scenario, that scenario, this scenario. Why is no one mentioning the Reds?
Because they don't believe in them, nor do I.
Done. Nobody does.
They're 74 and 71. They have a negative 37 run differential. I mean, they have a losing record at home. They're 36 and 39.
I just looked up at the NBA today.
Mhm.
My goal this year is to help Chris Paul get his first championship. Draymond Green is saying that.
Okay. So
Sorry.
Chris Paul's on the Warriors now.
I just put 2 and 2 together. I just put 2 and 2 together.
He's now on the Warriors.
So. No, I knew that, but then when you don't look at it,
Correct,
talk about it forever.
Yes.
I looked over and I'm like, wait, Draymond and him are together. Like that's going to be.
Yes, it's ridiculous. Braves and the Phillies split yesterday on that doubleheader, but the Braves are minus 120 today.
Fantastic baseball games yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That situation.
Wheeler Freed today. Who are you taking?
Oh, I'm taking
Braves.
No.
No.
Plus money.
Wow.
This is Wheeler. Yes. Give me Phillies. Phillies and under. This is awesome game today. This will be the focus of my shift today on Sports Grid, despite the fact that they want to talk about like Jets futures odds and all this other stuff. Blah, 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 blah. We're talking about baseball today, baby. Braves.
Phillies.
Braves, Phillies.
Okay.
Is this an NLCS preview?
Could be. I'm not saying it is. It could be. I'm not saying that. And then one more baseball question before better to book it.
Mm-hmm.
A Pirate player is asking for robot umpires. Brian Hayes.
You see how far that pitch was outside?
Okay. Brian Hayes says, quote, some umpires really don't care. 3-1 call, not even close.
Wasn't even close.
Hold him accountable after the game, walking off the field. And his response is the shoulder shrug emoji. I gave you a chance to hit a home run. That tells me you don't care at all. No accountability. Bring the ABS, please.
Oh, boy.
MLB.
Careful what you wish for.
Derek Shelton said, quote, it's a very rare situation and he's frustrated. Sometimes I think today we vent in different ways, not speaking for him in any way, but the point of the matter is every at-bat is important. Every at-bat is crucial. The fact that he has passion for every single pitch, I think is really important. MLB has been testing the ABS at AAA this year, a computer that makes calls for half the games and the other half, batters and pitchers and catchers can challenge a human umpire with the computer getting the final say.
I've seen this in action at the
like
Aviators games. The guy taps his helmet to challenge. Different teams were letting the players do it, and other teams were letting the manager do it. I thought I would hate it. After going to a bunch of games with the kids and them watching and explaining it, I don't like it. I love it.
You love it?
I love it.
I hate it.
I love it. The pitcher, the batter knows. Most of the time, the batters are so good at this level. They know when a pitch is 3 inches off the plate. They review it. It's 3 inches off the plate. If they're wrong, they tap their thing. They look at it. If it's on the box or on the line, it's a strike. That's challenge is done. Now you can't do it again. You only get 2. If you lose 2, you're out. So to give the power to the batter to do it, you better be. I mean, if you have carte blanche as the batters, you use them both in the first inning. Like, wow, what are we doing? I liked it. I only because I've seen it in practice. If you're thinking it in theory, no, I don't like it. I think there's.
I like the nuance. I like the inconsistency. It's the one thing in sports I like that's inconsistent. You
don't like anything inconsistent.
I like balls and strikes being inconsistent. I do.
You're as meticulous and as an order person as I know in my life right now.
I like that inconsistent. It's what makes baseball baseball. I don't want it with home runs. I don't want it with plays at the plate. I don't want it at first base, second base, or third base. But I don't want it with goals in hockey. I don't want it with all. I don't like the offsides review, but I get why they do it. I don't like that in hockey. I like the idea that different umpires have different strike zones because human beings are built differently. My strike zone from my knee to my chest is different based upon my crouch, based upon my stance, based upon everything. So I like umpires having some inconsistencies. It's what makes baseball baseball.
But as a pitcher, which is what I was first and foremost, I want consistency.
Of course,
I need to know where the damn strike zone is.
Part of the game.
Call it one time, or
Yeah, I'm with you. I get the point. I know what you're saying. But I think we've been playing baseball for over 100 years, and the mistakes are part of the lore of the game. It just is. I mean, I don't want bad calls. There's a difference between a bad call and a strike 1 inch, 3 inches, either way.
That's fine. But like Livan Hernandez pitched a no-hitter for the Marlins years ago. Eric Gregg was the home plate umpire.
Okay.
If the catcher caught the ball, it was a strike. It didn't matter where he caught it. If he caught it, it was a strike. It was insane. I remember watching the game going, how is this possible? And everybody just went, that's just Eric Gregg. He's allowed to just, he did this big punch out. Sometimes I saw it with the kids. This is when it used to drive me crazy. We traveled to California. We pay money for a hotel. And a guy would just not give a shit behind home plate. And he would give them calls a foot off the plate, ring one of our batters up. I'm like, Blue, you got to give the kids a chance. These kids are trying to better their lives. They're paying dues as parents. We're the coaches. We're responsible for bringing them here. And the parents are mad at us because we're losing games because our kids can't hit the ball. What the hell are we doing here? And at one time I got escorted out of the park because I went right to the tournament director and said, that guy doesn't give a shit. He's not even bending. I know it's 106 and we're in a godforsaken place with no air, no wind, and no shade. I'm hot too. He's getting paid to be out here. Can he at least try? These guys are major league umpires. They should take significant effort to get every pitch right. And sometimes you're watching the games and you're like, that guy, I don't even think his eyes are open. Millions of dollars are being decided on these things.
They are, but I like that inconsistency in baseball. I think if we make it perfect, it changes the game a lot. It alters the game. It's the one part of sport I do not want computers involved.
Do you like it in tennis? They can tell by an inch if the ball hits the line in tennis.
Because there's a line there that's straight. Baseball doesn't have that. If every human being playing baseball was the same size, I would agree with you. But they're not the same size.
So the strike zone with the
is
ABA
different.
Going to be the same for Jose Altuve as it is for Aaron Judge?
Chest to knees.
But they're different sizes. So is it going to be the same or different?
Same, but it's just on that person, it's the same. Human beings, but the human beings are very different sizes.
Right. Jose Altuve is short.
Right.
Aaron Judge is big.
But some umpires call the inside.
It's going to adjust for that, no?
Of course. But some umpires will have an inside strike. Some umpires will have an outside strike. Some umpires will call it low. Some umpires will call it high. I like that. I think that's neat. I think that's a good, it's what keeps baseball baseball. If the umpire doesn't care, fire the umpire and put somebody in there who cares. Like I'm more inclined to remove the ump than I am to change the whole way it's being called.
Man, oh man.
I'll upgrade it that way if I can on that. So,
all
right. Time for Better to Book. Three bets to give you guys here today before we wrap and go to bonus time. Cubs team total over 6.5 at the Rockies. It's a flexing day.
Oh boy.
Cubs scored 5 yesterday.
Holy crap. The total for the game is 12.5.
It was 11.5 last night. 12.5 now.
Woo! Oh, boy. What'd you get? 6.5 what?
Minus 115.
A couple places have 7.5 now.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yikes. Whew. All right. That's a lot of runs, Perrault.
It is, but it's course. Flexen has gotten absolutely tattooed.
He's just filling innings right now. I was going to buy a Flexen game used jersey in Seattle.
Really?
Yeah, they wanted $225 for it. And my daughter was like, "Is he any good?" And I said, "Well, he was for a brief amount of time." I took a picture of the jersey instead and saved the $225.
There you go.
I think over. I think bet this.
Opponents with Flexen on the mound in 3 of the last 4 games have scored 10, 13, and 12 runs. So just give you a little idea. It was 5.
Hope he
5,
stays
4.
in the game long enough to get the
Man,
runs.
the bullpen's just as bad though. Team total: Orioles over 5.5, fading Wainwright.
Good bet. Fair. I like this.
Because I don't know what to do with John Means. What if John Means comes back and he's awesome?
That's what
So I want no part of him. I can't touch John Means because
so
I'm
you
like,
would rather do this than the game over? 'Cause
Correct.
I was going to say, okay.
No, because
right.
what happens? He's a lefty coming off of Tommy John. What happens if he's awesome? And
This
if he's
is
awesome,
true.
he could be a monster addition to this Orioles rotation and
Right.
could be a huge. He could start game 1 of their playoff series. I mean, John Means, for the better part of 3 seasons before the Tommy John surgery, was the ace of this staff. So I want no part of him. Like I have no idea what John Means. I know what Wainwright is. Wainwright's horrible. Starts since August
First 5
4th.
team total. Somebody just dropped it in there. Stevie Mack. Good
If
to
you
see
want it, but
sir.
I'd rather hit I want to hit
Team
the
total over
yeah.
2.5.
I want to hit the bullpen, and I'm not positive.
That's fair.
7. He since October the 4th. Here are the runs given up by Wainwright in his starts: 7, 8, 3, 6, 1, 6.
It's so. I've watched his last 3 starts. He gets to the 5th, maybe giving up 1 run. And then it starts to unravel, and they won't take him out because they want him to be the pitcher on record because they want him to get that 200th win. And they leave him in too long. In the 5th inning, you can bet that Baltimore will score a run today in the 5th inning. If you're watching the game live, I'll be on live on in-game live in the 5th, most likely for that.
The other bet you can make if you want. This is actually kind of psychotic. If you don't like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He has lost 10 of 11, all on the run line. All on the run line.
Damn, bro. And I really like Adam Wainwright. I hate to see these careers end like this. He's just getting pummeled.
9-1, 14-0, 15-2, 5-1, 9-4, 12-8, 4-2, 6-3, 4-1, 8-5.
Oh,
only a couple of them have come close where they win by 2. Most of them are 4 or 5.
oh.
You're just winning by dramatic
Alternate
amount.
run line?
Do you want to do alt run line?
Minus
Do that?
2.5.
Yeah, you can
Plus
do that too.
money. Yeah, team total over. I think that. Yeah, I mean, you want to sit here and say book this? I don't want to book this. I don't have to do that. I say bet it.
And finally, first 5 over Astros A's.
Yikes! Why'd you do this game?
Because I think this is more of a hunch play. This is more of the Astros lineup. Verlander has not been great.
Oh.
Verlander might be getting tired.
Oh.
3-2 after
We're
5.
going Astros game over in the first 5. What is
against JP
against
JP Sears.
your will? Is someone making you
No.
do this?
Against JP Sears. This is a feel. This is a feel play.
Oh my gosh. I don't like this at all.
I don't like JP Sears, and I'm not.
I don't like this game. I of all the games, I'm looking for the baseball because I know you're smoking hot.
Mm-hmm.
It's so great. I hope you keep winning in baseball because you know
I was 0-2 last night.
What's that?
I was 0-2 last night.
What'd you do last night? Oh,
did 2 unders. They both got crushed.
Oh, that's right. The Texas one. We booked that one. I didn't like that one. Yeah, I want to keep talking about baseball, so I want you to keep doing good. I can't believe you would have picked this game, though. I thought maybe you were going to do.
He
Kansas
lost
City
5 straight
today.
starts before his last 2 starts in September.
Yeah.
JP Sears goes back to the JP Sears of August, not the JP Sears of September tonight.
Kansas City plays a doubleheader today against the White Sox in Chicago.
Yeah, I violated I should never have bet the game 1. I don't bet doubleheaders. It's just a thing of me. I don't like betting. Everything's wonky and messed up. I don't like betting either one. If you guys are on Sports Grid TV or Sirius XM channel 159, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We're going to go over to bonus time live on YouTube and Twitter. If you guys are watching on recorded on Sports Grid or on 159 on Sirius, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. For you guys who are here live on YouTube and Twitter, time for bonus time and super chats to be answered coming up right now. Okay. Super chats questions to be answered. Okay. Big business says Jets bring back Flacco, take him to the Super Bowl. Just hand the ball off and don't caca yourself. This defense will keep you in any game. Also, we need to talk about Josh Allen being worse than Dak Prescott.
You know, I read that during the show.
Correct, but he needs to get. We didn't talk about it. We skipped over it.
Oh,
so is Dak better than Josh Allen? The answer is no. J Buck, I appreciate you fellas. Thank you. He dropped in a little $2 super chat. Chef Benny, Houston, Seattle, Dodgers, plus 180. They all lost yesterday. 3-team money line parlay.
Whoa. Houston, Seattle,
Dodgers.
Dodgers.
I like that.
It's the Dodgers pitching matchup. Lance Lynn, you want Lance Lynn today?
Do not, but I think that they can win the game.
You do?
Yeah. Win at 9-8, but they can win the game. Dodgers, I mean, the Padres.
Walker and over in that game for me. Seattle better win today.
They better.
The Woo line is so high. Yankees are beating the Red Sox, by the way, 3-2. 6. And who's the other one?
A single pitch.
Who's the other one? Seattle,
Houston,
Dodgers,
Seattle, Dodgers.
Houston. I can't believe the Houston line. What if they lose again?
Not going to lose today.
Okay.
Don't think they lose today. I think they have I think they have
3. That goes 2 of 3.
They hit JP Sears hard today. I like that, Chef. I'm with you. Crunchy Beaver, overreaction Tuesday. I missed the end of yesterday live. 49ers look scary good. Bengals look bad. Bears still suck. Broncos still suck too. Jets are done with the MILF Slayer at quarterback. He's cannon fodder this week.
Oh my.
I don't know if he's can't. I mean, look, the Bengals look bad. I think they'll look much better in week 2. The Bears suck. Yes, I agree. Broncos suck. Yes, I agree. Jets are done with Zach Wilson. Disagree. I don't think they're done.
I don't think so either. I don't know. He's been there all camp. He's been listening, learning, whatever. Why not take the show on the road? Put him in a game in Dallas. What are you going to do? Bring somebody in and teach him the playbook in 3 or 4 days and then play him?
No.
What are you saying?
He's the starter. He's no. I mean, Salah said it. He's QB1 for now. I mean, until they figure out something else, he's QB1. Right. His team for now.
Yeah.
Till they find something else out.
That's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
What else was to unpack there? The Broncos still suck. You'd like the Broncos this week? I'd like Washington.
I do too.
Them plus the points.
Yeah.
I just, again, they were just 3.5 against the Raiders. I'm not saying the Raiders and the Commanders are the same, but I didn't see anything in Denver that makes me go, oh, they're going to explode and cover. They could lose. So points. Jets are done.
I would agree. Okay. Favorite thing about today is what? Oh, wait. No, sorry. Addison. Hold on. Addison has
what
St. Louis, Baltimore over a half a run in the 5th inning is at -134. Would you better to book it?
Somebody scoring in the 5th inning.
Probably.
I mean, they have to be. We'll keep an eye on it. Remind me, or I'll remind myself because you won't be on. That's right. Me and you are doing Friday. Yes, I would bet it right now. Okay. Depending on who's. I mean, I want to know. Ideally, both starters still in the game. Yes, we'll know for sure later.
Favorite thing about today is what? We'll deal with that later. Stay focused on this. Wrap this up, and then we'll get to that in a second. I know what you're looking at. Hold on.
Oh no, Crunchy.
Just get through this first.
No, I just looked out. I saw another super chat. Crunchy dropped another one in there.
Oh,
you guys thought the Giants were going to cover too? Yes, we damn did. But the Giants were going to cover.
I did too.
Yeah, they didn't even score. Damn it! So that was we're waiting for to exactly for the Giants to score a point. Good luck this week with the Giants. You want to take them at Arizona. Favorite thing about today is this. We've met so many people and forged relationships through this show. You guys have done it on your own through the chat, through the Discord. What's the Discord channel again?
bvbshow.com.
It's phenomenal what's going on. And I'll get random texts, pictures, calls. It's awesome. Yesterday's show was really well received.
Oh, good.
I thought we did 9/11. It's justice. Let a lot of people, have their own memories of it. We had ours. We shared them on the show. It was great. Today, I wake up to a text from one of our friends at the show. I'll call him Johnny P.
Okay. Yeah,
and
of course.
He sends a picture. First, I see it on Twitter, and his tweets are protected, so you can't see them unless you know him or follow him or whatever. And it's a beautiful picture of a beach. And I'm like, look at that water. Look at those rocks. That might be Curacao. So I sent him a text. I'm like, where are you at? And he said, Greece. He went to Greece to be the best man in his cousin's wedding.
Nice.
In September. He's a trader in a major book. And I said, that's fantastic. Congratulations. I was the best man 7 times in weddings.
Yes.
Every one of them is divorced. Every single, I'm over.
Kiss of death.
So if you get remarried, don't ask me to be the best man in the wedding because it ain't going to work. But he said it's his first time. And I said, I'm just happy for you that you went. He's like, I wouldn't miss out on an opportunity to see all this family and stuff, and sent me a picture. And I told him, I'm so happy for you. He said, you made me realize I can't miss out on life opportunities to work in a book. I never took a vacation in September. Never. Because
now, who gets married in Greece in September is a different story, but yes.
Exactly.
Gotta have a conversation.
At the same time, I was told when I worked in a book here, it was like, you can't there's no vacation. It's blackout period between September and Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, I'm that important that I couldn't take a vacation. Like, the book's going to survive without me. I didn't understand it. I always pushed back. So he sends me that picture, and I said, you're the best thing about today, Johnny P. You being the best man at a wedding. Sends me a picture with him and surrounded at a table full of family, just sitting there. It looks like a picture out of a movie scene. Him and all of his Greek family over in Greece.
Phenomenal.
Just great. I said, enjoy the rest of your trip. I can't wait to hear about it when you get back. That's Johnny P. Best thing about today.
Well, hopefully he travels safely and gets back and has a good time over there. The weather looks absolutely gorgeous this time of the year in Greece. I've never been, but it's definitely on a bucket list for me, for things to be able to go ahead and do that. It happened yesterday, but I woke up thinking about it today. I talked to you about it a bit last night. Young people are I am very, very blessed to teach. And I feel fortunate that I get to go and talk about audio and talk about my passion and talk about my career and help the next generation of kids. It's awesome because I get the kids talking, and it takes like till about yesterday, which is the start of week 3, before they really come out of their shell. And it's really cool how open and honest kids can be, and they just tell you the truth, and they just come out and they just bam, and they hit you with it, and you're like, wow. And you learn so much about where our country is going. Like, these are the people who are going to be running the country at one point. And when you hear what they say, like, we got to pay attention to these kids. Like, what they say, they were saying some really poignant and important things about how they're viewing things. And one of the kids just said, I had him do this 60-second opinion take. And one of the kids did this opinion based upon the future of politics. And he said, participating in politics is stupid. And I was like, whoa, okay, can we talk about this? And we got into a really cool conversation about where we are as a country and how these kids are looking at their future and what they think is going on. And I mean, the amount of distrust that they have for the people in power is as much as I think most adults our age, your and mine's age, as we look at and going, what the hell's going on and why is this happening? But they feel like they're starting from behind the 8 ball, and they're just saying, fuck it. What's the point? And I was like, man, we got kids who are 18 who are disenfranchised already. Like, this is bad. Like, this is not good.
Yep.
And it just it woke me up yesterday to go like, whew, like, they're this honest about how pissed off they are. Like, I was like, man, you are cynical for 19. He was like, yeah, well, I've seen enough. It's like, fuck. Oh, like,
yep.
So I think I just, for me, my favorite thing about today is just that I think I get more people need to be listening to these kids. Like, we got to listen to the kids.
I say it all the time, man. The kids know. You just got to listen. You got to give them an opportunity to talk, and then try to provide some sort of forum where they're safe and they can tell you the real stuff. And then once you're there, you can offer something back. Whether they choose to listen or not, you can't control.
Oh, no. And I mean, I said to them more or less, like, I wasn't trying to change their minds. I was just trying to more or less poke around in their heads about why did they get to this point? Like, how did you get here? Like, what have you seen? And one of the girls raised her hand, and I was stunned. She goes, man, she said, well, in this state in 2019, I could be killed legally for my sexuality. And I was like, wait, what? And we got into a whole conversation about that and about Nevada's law being changes. And she's like, how am I supposed to feel protected and comfortable? How am I supposed to feel like they care about me? And I was like, damn. It's like, that's just, I mean, raw, as real, as honest, as like just straight up caused a bunch of different conversations. So it's just, I think it's, I know I get paid to teach, but I feel like I gain so much more than money from being able to be in that classroom and teaching those kids every day. And I look forward to Mondays and Wednesdays just because it's I see them again tomorrow. And like, it's always fun in the beginning because every class is different, but I have a really cool class this year. So I'm psyched to see those guys coming up tomorrow back in class. If you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, please do so. Message, drop, hit the bell too, by the way, because that alerts you when we go live. The ish time kicks on with your phone or email, whatever it might be. You know, when we go live, we are replayed on Sirius XM channel 159 and on Sports Grid TV. Dave will be on Sports Grid. Him and I back together on Friday together this week for Sports Grid. So stay tuned for that. We will be back tomorrow. He is Dave. I am Matt. BBB for a Wednesday.